Just 3 years ago, 3M was known as one of the most stable dividend stocks that you could own. With a high quality brand and great returns, dividend investors are fiending for more 3M. Today, the stock is down nearly 60% from its high in 2018. The main reason of this is the lawsuit risk that 3M has been dealing with. Anytime a stock is performing worse than Cathie Wood's funds, something really bad must be up. So today, I will be providing you with a full update on all the lawsuits, my entire thoughts on the situation, what I am doing with my 3M stock. This entire 3M situation has just proven that nothing is predictable in the future. I don't know about you guys, but I hate long-term investments that don't perform well. Well, there is one investment that can perform well and is guaranteed to perform well, which is hitting that subscribe button right now. With all that out of the way, let's get into the video and of course, roll the intro.
Hello, I like money.
The big good news today that came out for 3M is that they struck a settlement worth $10.3 billion with U.S. cities and towns. The claims were that 3M's forever chemicals, which are basically chemicals that don't break down in the human body and are more dangerous as a result, were actually in water pollution, which is obviously very not good. $10.3 billion is a whole lot of money, but I think at the same time this could have been a whole lot worse, especially if there's human safety hazards as a result. On this channel, we like to keep our ethics out of investing, so it may sound a little bad that I'm kind of supporting a company that quite literally has damaged people's health. But 3M was facing thousands of lawsuits because of this over the PFA's contamination claims, and they pledged to stop making these PFA and forever chemicals by 2025. So they are trying to gradually decrease and, exit the sector overall. Long term, I do think this definitely is the right move for 3M, trying to lower risk going into the future with all these, dangerous chemicals and industries. A big thing to note here is that 3M did not admit liability in these claims. That's a big thing too, because I think 3M is just trying to get out of this situation. They understand that this could have been a lot worse. That $10.3 billion settlement is going to be paid over 12 years. 3M stock was up pre-market this morning, but now is trading flat. I think the big positive here is that there's more certainty and there's more clarity over what's going to happen. Obviously, investors do not like uncertainty in the stock market, which has been primarily the reason that the stock has been selling off and why a lot of investors are hesitant to buy at these cheap prices, including myself. Now, the PFA lawsuits aren't all that, though. 3M is also doing with the Earplug lawsuits in the Army, which is another bad thing for the company as well. On June 16th, there was an update. For the second consecutive month, we saw a decrease in the number of plaintiffs, which are the people suing 3M. There are now 254,000 cases in the MDL, which is 10,000 less than the start of the year, and that number is expected to continue dropping. Now, this is very positive news for 3M as they are getting these cases settled as well. Overall, we want to see that number of plaintiffs decrease over time. Investors, as I mentioned, do not like uncertainty, and with 250,000 cases and people looking for millions and billions of dollars from 3M, it is best that they continue on settling. That's the latest on the lawsuits overall. The recap of those is that 3M is continuing to settle. Whether they are paying a premium or not, they do not want to continue fighting this further and are trying to prevent any major losses. 3M is also trying to fight the court, but is quite being unsuccessful right now. Likely, you're just going to see 3M continue to settle and take the loss. Legal experts are predicting that this 3M lawsuit should be resolved by 2024 or 1 or 2 years. To be on the safe side, I would say that these are completely out of the way by 2026. Long term, though, this could present some issues to 3M's financials, and we're going to take a dive into that right now. To start off, let's take a look at the revenue itself. Now, I typically don't love to look at revenue for my companies when I'm researching because I like to look at how profitable they are. But in 3M's case, I'm going to look at it today just to see how overall their business operations are doing during the lawsuits. You aren't going to be seeing crazy growth for companies like Apple or Microsoft, but you're going to see large, consistent cash flow here. And that's what you sign up for when you buy a consistent company and a large, mature company like 3M. Large, cash flow, consistent, not crazy growth, no crazy decline. It's a big thing to understand right now with 3M is that they're still operating their business as usual. But with the profitability and free cash flow, I think that's where a lot of the concern is at right now from investors' perspective. Yeah, it's nice that you're profitable and you're making all this money, but how much is going to be taken away from all these lawsuits and these risks? Taking a look at 3M's free cash flow, though, it obviously has been impacted by these lawsuits, unfortunately. You can see the massive decline in 2022 here after a big couple years. They aren't free cash flow negative, though, which is a good sign. Keep in mind also that 3M has spent about $1.5 billion in capital expenditures and reinvesting back into their business. This also eats away at free cash flow, and the number should probably be around that $4.5 billion right now. Now let's take a look at 3M's gross profitability and how it's been impacted by the lawsuits. You can obviously see here it is just like the revenue. It is stable, it is large, and it's not growing drastically, but it's not decreasing drastically. You can see a tiny dip at the end there, and I would say that could be because of cyclical issues right now, like inflation, etc. But again, looking at these charts from now at least, 3M's profitability seems to be doing fine. The next few years of earnings, though, will be very important, and you have to keep an eye on that if you're looking at 3M. You can see here on Seeking Alpha, 3M's gross profit margin right now is 42.55%. That's an A- grade relative to their sector. Very strong profitability still from 3M, and it doesn't seem that the lawsuits are drastically impacting that. One of the big reasons that I'm really holding on to 3M right now is the juicy dividend that they still pay, which is trading near 6% yield right now, which is a historical high. Let's get into the topic if 3M's dividend is safe. Obviously, the main metric when you're looking at a dividend safety is the payout ratio, and currently 3M's payout ratio is near 64%, which I would say is definitely sustainable. I'm in the mindset that if 3M were to cut their dividend, I believe they would have already done it. 3M is a mature enough company where they don't have to reinvest a whole lot of money back into their business to grow it. Taking a deeper dive into 3M's dividend safety, their current cash dividend payout ratio is a little high right now at 82%. Obviously, they're going to be lower on cash as they continue to do settlements. But keep in mind that cash flow payout ratio right now is around 60%, which is definitely a positive for 3M. In the next 1 to 2 years, as I mentioned, as they continue to lose money on the settlements, I would expect this payout ratio to go up a little bit, and these free cash flow payout ratios maybe creep up into the 70s, maybe even 80s. 3M doesn't have the best dividend growth, though, unfortunately, so for an investor like me, it is not that much of an appealing dividend long term. 6% yield is nice, but for me, I'm a long-term investor. I'm more oriented on dividend growth. 3M's dividend growth has been very lackluster recently. Their last increase was 0.6%. 3-year dividend growth is 0.91%, and a 5-year dividend growth is 3.36%, which is drastically under inflation. Long-term, though, dividend growth always beats high dividend yield. I do believe, though, long-term, as 3M continues to move on from these settlements and continues to settle, I believe that the dividend growth will be a little more moderate and a little closer to inflation, but I'm not expecting anything near really high dividend growth. Getting to my point, is the dividend safe? For a more clear answer, I really think you need to ask me in another year or two, as these next 2 years are going to be really important for 3M. But I would say as they keep on settling, as long as they don't get the full max, penalty, and the legal system doesn't completely eat them inside and out. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm of the mindset if 3M were to cut their dividend, I believe they would have already done it. That gets to the big question of the video right now, is if I think 3M is a buy and what I'm doing. Look, as all of you guys know, I'm sure, I am a buy and hold forever type of guy. When I initially bought 3M a few years ago, I was planning to hold forever, collect my dividends, reinvest, etc. Nothing has changed. I was buying 3M 160, 180, 140, etc. I am definitely holding on my buying for now with my limited capital that I have. If I had a whole lot of money, I'd probably add a little bit into my 3M position. With that said, right now, I am just holding. I do not love the uncertainty still with it, but I am holding long term. I think it would be irresponsible for me as an investor to sell. With that said, though, if 3M does cut the dividend, I probably will sell a good amount of my position, if not all of it. That's what I'm doing with my 3M. Again, my time horizon is probably much different than some of your guys's. I'm willing to wait a few years for this stock to recover, reinvest my dividends during the time period. And that, guys, will be the end of the video recap. Let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts on the entire situation right now? If you're buying, selling, holding, I'd love to hear. I'm personally holding. If you want to talk about it more, make sure to join the Discord link in the description. We'll have a whole conversation on there. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot, of course, if you made it this far. Really means a lot. Thank you all for all the love and support that you showed on the SEHD video. It's doing very well right now. It makes me feel very warm inside. I enjoy making these type of videos, the 3M videos. Helps keep myself updated. I learn more stuff too, and I grow as an investor with you guys. With all that out of the way, thank you guys so much. And of course, thank you for watching. Do dividend stocks, not drugs. Have a good weekend.